In this episode, I'm going to consult a SaaS startup founder in marketing. It will include valuable advice, also that can be applicable for other SaaS founders. Before we dive into the consultation, I will summarize the most important lessons learned from that episode. I'm consulting the startup XOA, who created an app for passionate bicyclers. This startup has been created by Valentino Sturba, an Italian entrepreneur. It's a good example of a great business idea for a limited budget. It targets a very specific audience, passionate bicyclers, with a very specific pain point. Because they are riding long distances, their parts need to be exchanged after a certain number of kilometers. With their app, it's so much easier to track and to understand when to exchange those parts. It's a very specific idea, and there will probably not be that many competitors because for bigger corporations, the market is too small. So you can establish yourself as the number one app, especially with a networking effect when you get all those main players in you and are then considered as the industry standard. But of course, even then, you have to do the right things because as a startup, your resources are a bit limited. It's all about doing the right things in the right time. Instead of focusing on SEO or paid ads or social media, in this case, it's better to use the resources to contact the organizations and the places where there are many of those passionate bicyclers. That way, you only need to convince one organization and you suddenly get hundreds or thousands users. And what many SaaS founders forget that there is not only online marketing, but you can also send flyers or brochures to the right target audience. And suddenly you stand out because not many companies do that. And as long as it's very relevant and you can get several clients at once, it can be really worth it. With that market, it's all about recommendations. It's a community. Those bicyclers, they talk with each other. So if you get into several of those communities, it can be distributed by itself by recommendations, especially since there are free features that are already pretty helpful of this app and people can upgrade to a premium feature. So it's easy to test this solution. Valentino has been considering expanding his target audience to casual bicyclers and expand outside of Italy. And there is the risk, especially with this kind of networking effect. It's so much better to really double down on your market where you already have a lot of understanding, expertise, and advantage. I realize that for startups and founders, there are always so many things that are shining, that are seems to be lucrative. And it's easy to start trying to get it all. But in the end, your resources are so limited. You have much better success chances if you laser focus, and don't spread yourself thin across the borders where you suddenly don't have the competitive advantage. You will have to invest a lot of money and waste a lot of money because there are certain things you cannot predict how people behave, and suddenly your brand is diluted. So at the moment, if he continues focusing on the market and the same target audience, people will associate the app only for professionals, and the market is big enough for years to cover. So it's better to become number one for a small niche market than number 20 for a huge market, because majority of the revenue goes to the first biggest players, and the lower it goes, the less potential it has. With this niche, micro influencer could also work very well because those passionate bicyclers probably follow certain influencers on YouTube, Instagram, and by collaborating with those influencers, you can save a lot of time, because the other alternative, if you try to promote your app, even if it's for free, it's not easy. people are skeptical. People don't have the time. You have to establish trust and relationship. But if you go to micro influencers, you can skip a lot of that because there is already a trust relationship between the target audience and the influencers. The influencers are recommending your solution kind of, even if they are disclosing that it's a sponsored. But here it's also important to understand that you need several interactions. It's better if you have fewer influencers that promote your solution several times than if you focus on as many influencers as possible to promote your product only once. Because people don't pay so much attention. If they heard about a brand for the first time, it passes by. But if they heard about the same brand several times, they stop and start thinking about it. And sometimes it takes a little bit to go from I don't need that solution to maybe I need that solution to yes, I want to try it out. It feels like many founders feel obligated to build a social media presence and to increase the visibility. And the problem with that is it's not always the best choice. It's actually the opposite because it takes a lot of time. What I recommended to this startup is to keep that to a minimum, to create maybe once a week a pretty good post so that people, if they see the social media presence, they see, okay, there is something, there is a business behind it, but it doesn't make sense to create 5 or 3 posts a week, which costs a lot of time and money just to start being shown on social media. In that case, the money is much better spent on other activities that are much more targeted. And with social media, it takes very long time to build an authority so that the social media channels start recommending your content to other people. And it's also not very targeted. Even if your content is being viewed by hundreds of people or thousands of people, how many of them are really your target audience? To speed up the social media visibility, you can use ads, especially if you can target very precisely the right target audience. In that case, you could use YouTube ads, for example, and target specific channels, specific videos. If people watch certain content, then they would see your ads. Or if people search for certain keywords in the past, you can show them your YouTube ads. That way you target very specific, but also you have enough time to explain your product. But you do it only after you covered all the other more direct approaches. You focus on contacting the communities, the organizations where those bicyclers are organized. And when you are already covered and you have resources left, then you start with social media advertising. It can also be meta ads. You can target specific topics, interests, and with times it starts learning. But pick only one channel and don't underestimate how much effort, how much time and money it will cost. Usually the results don't come very quickly. So you need to be realistic about how long you will need to do that. And also you shouldn't forget about hiring someone who really understands those channels, because you can make a lot of mistakes if you try it yourself and it becomes more expensive because you waste a lot of money. Important is to understand that you need several touch points with your target audience. They have to see your ads or your content several times until the interest is big enough for them to try out your application. That's where retargeting plays an important role. So you target people who interacted already with your content, and that way you can create a series of videos or ads where they see it over and over again. And of course, pictures are much easier to create, but with videos you can establish a relationship and you can also explain the product much better. And now we are going to the whole consultation where you can learn for your own business. I have been doing online marketing for over 15 years, and I also built my own SaaS startup between 2010 and 2015. So I have a lot of experience with most common mistakes and misconceptions about SaaS marketing. And if you need some clarity, we have a checklist for marketing on masterful.info that you can download for free, where you can find the right marketing channels and where you can find the most common mistakes that you should avoid and best practices that you should follow.
It's great to have a guest who wants to have some marketing advice. In the recent months, most people wanted to tell the story, and now I can have something to talk about marketing, my favorite topic.
No, I think you can give me a lot of good advice or good things. So I think it's better for a small startup, also because we are an
Yes.
Italian startup. So it's a pleasure to speak with some international people. I really appreciate the opportunity. So I think it's better that you speak about the marketing tips.
That's nice. You got 14,000 euros as a regional grant, which
Yes.
gives you some flexibility for the budget of marketing.
In 2023, we opened the startup. We created the startup because we want this regional grant that give to us 40,000 euros. I have to say that 20,000 euros is only run the startup, because we have a lot of taxation, you have to pay for a lot of things. But yes, we have another $20,000 that we will spend in marketing and this type of things. Also because the app that we want to create needs a lot of marketing, because
Yes.
it's important to reach a huge amount of people.
You need a critical mass. You're targeting the bicyclers, but you're also targeting those places that repair bicycles. Are
Yes.
the two target audiences. And I guess the main challenge is on bicyclers. Because
Yes.
if you have them, the workshops, they will be happy.
You understand the real problem, because if we reach a very huge amount of bicycler that want to use the app, it's easy to sell the bike center application software. We want to create a platform like Booking. Booking is famous,
Yeah, of course.
because if you put your house into Booking, it's very easy to rent it, because you reach a lot of people, a lot of potential customers. And so we want that the project, that the name is XWA, we want that XWA will improve also these things. If I have a workshop, I can also create potential.
If you are a bicycle repair workshop, you get to your app, and the goal is they will have a lot of potential clients on the platform. You want to be local, so to start local, so that you have enough bicyclers in one place,
Yes.
and then to take care of the workshops. So first, let's explore the idea of your app. They download the app from Google Play Store or Apple Play Store. And
Yes.
then what will be the next step for them?
Okay, for the bicyclers, it's easy, because when they download the app, they will use every day. Because if we speak about bicyclers that spend a lot of time on it, the first step is to reach the athlete. So
who do it very kind of professional or very regularly, who drive far.
Yes. The value for that customer is very high, because the company is basically 3 people, me, Luca, and Alessandro, that we are friends. But Alessandro consider that he do a lot of race, working for a sports crew, but also he worked in a workshop. So he really know about the sector, and we see that bicycle and the professional one have these needs, because they always register all the action, all the maintenance things in paper, and it's not really, you can lose it.
They have those parts of a bicycle, like the chain, for example, and then they register that on paper usually when they exchange, because it lasts for a certain number of kilometers. And if you are a professional bicycler, then you have so many kilometers, so you have to take care of it. You have to switch on time before it breaks, which would be pretty bad if it breaks in the middle of somewhere.
Yes, this is the problem. And we think that a lot of bicyclers will use the app every day or almost every day because a lot of people ride the bicycle like 2 times for week or 3 times for week, and you have to put all the kilometers that you have done. You will spend time on the app. The second is that obviously we want to connect Strava and Garmin. It will be the premium feature that it will have a cost, but with this, the application will be automatic. So you don't have to register all the tracking.
Yeah, it will track how many kilometers you drove, so you don't need to type it in. And how does it work with writing the parts? Are there many parts? Is it a lot of work?
It will be very simple because the user experience is the most important thing.
Yes.
So it will be, consider that the app will have 4 sectors. So the garage, where I put my bikes, I create my bikes because I can have 10 or 20 bikes. The maintenance sector with a simple button that will be a plus, you can put all the maintenance. So I can add, for example, today I change my gear, okay?
Yes.
And very simple, 1 or 2 information. It must be easy and fast. Don't too much, not hard. And after that, you will register that you change it. The chain, the other things. That's it. For the tracking, the manual one, the automatic is automatic. The manual one, we will create another section that also in that case, a plus button. And with that, you can add the track. Today, I have done 60 kilometers, but you don't have to ride it. You put 60 and save it. So really simple, really, really fast.
So did you already have ideas how you want to promote it?
Not really. We want to start with networking that Alessandro created in the past, because a lot of people in this sector, professional bikers, we will use the network. After that, go into social, Instagram, TikTok, and promote our activities. We want to focus on not the product or the brand, but the experience. So we want to create something that have value for the people that see the video. This is our idea, but it's really not really precisely. So now I need some tips about it.
Do you want to choose certain cities first to promote on social media?
Yes, we want to start in our region because it's simple and because our network is from here, so it's easy for us. We come from a city that almost 20% of the people use bike every week. So we want to start in our city and the region. After that, we think it's a good idea to go north of Italy because it's a good market. If we speak about Emilia-Romagna or also Lombardia, that it can be different because here we have a lot of downhill, a lot of mountains. In our country, only the people that are professional bicycler use the bikes, okay? In the north, it's different because they have a lot of flat area, and so they use also for work, to go to work. So maybe XUA will reach another target. We want to go in the north, and obviously after that in Europe, because we know a lot of European countries use bikes for everything.
Netherlands, there is every second person has a bike and uses every day.
Yes, in the future, 1 or 2 years, we want to try to go in the European market. Depends on the Italian result, obviously.
So the first main target audience are more professional or amateurs, but who are doing it as a sport.
Yes, right. Perfect.
How are those people organized? Do they have clubs, some kind of groups?
If we speak about the physical community, they have a lot of group, crew. For example, in Italy, we have a lot of association that will put their athlete to the race and other things. So we can reach this type of association, for example.
Yes, I think it's a good idea to start with those communities and clubs where those people are already there, because you get one of those clubs and then you suddenly have hundreds users. And another thing is, it's all about trust. There are so many apps out there, so many solutions. If you present yourself, especially in the beginning, you don't have so many other users, it's really good to have this personal connection with target audience, club members and organizers. I have a question about the pricing. How is the pricing? Do you have a freemium model, or which kind of?
Yes, it will be a freemium model because we want to incentivate. We want to take a lot of customers, and we also want to create a freemium app that can be also use free. So I want to do an example, and if it is good, you will you will say to me. But I try the Spotify free version, okay, and I see that obviously Spotify, it's a huge company and can do these things. But the free application is not user friendly. You can't skip music. So what can I say? If you want to have a good experience, you have to pay. No, we want to do a middle things. So we want that it will be freemium, and the premium part will be the automatic connection with Strava and Garmin. So in this way, the application is almost not automatically, but you don't care about XY, but you only think to go on the race, mountains, and everything is automatic. And after that, the application said you run 100 kilometers. So it's time to check your bicycle. And the price of this feature and other one, we don't know, but we think also if you buy a bike, you will transfer to the client all the information about the bike. But I think that it will be a feature that costs to the client, obviously. The price will be around 2 or 3 euros every month. With this, we have to reach a very huge amount of people. But we think that is not the app for the bicyclist that will create a lot of revenue, but it will be the bike center software.
Repair places, that's where you will earn more money than.
Yes, because it will be a management system. And in that case, it will be like 20 or 30 euros per month. And also depends on the company. Maybe the company is very huge. We can adjust the price because, maybe the product is bigger, more complex. And so for us, the revenue will come from the bike center and also the advertising. With the application, we will create a very precisely target people that want to spend money in the bikes. And maybe in future, when we have a huge amount of people, we can also add some partnership, some sponsor from big companies and something like that. So it will be another revenue center in the future.
I see quite some potential if you work with those bicycle workshops and they recommend your app to new members. And also those shops who sell bicycles, those a bit higher end shops that sell a bit more expensive, more professional bicycles. If you can give them some kind of incentive. So, for example, you can say for every premium membership, you get €1, we get €2. And because there is such a huge trust relationship with their clients. And if they say, hey, this is the app that we recommend, that can change their mind, convince them to use that. And it's win-win for everyone, for workshop as well.
Yes, it's a really good idea. And it can be also in the other sense, in the other part. We think that into the app, we will put also a section that say, leave the name of your workshop. Okay? So the bicycler will put the name, the location, I don't know. And when I reach a a certain number of notification, the client, the bicycle will go in, if 20 person notify the same workshop, they can go and say, hey, we have the application. Why do you don't have the software? So it can be the other part.
Yes.
Because the workshop will put all the information, all the registration, all the things that they have done in your bikes. And if a workshop do it, it will be a sort of certificated, okay? Because I can change my chain, but it's different if it is the bike center, the workshop that have done this. In that case, in theory, it's more regular, so it can be better.
So as a startup, it's always good to have a laser focus. So now I'm thinking, I wouldn't recommend to switch the target audience too soon. So if you say, okay, my area, I focus on those more professional bicyclers, I would continue focusing on that in the rest of Italy and maybe then Europe. And only when you are really, really like big, then you can think about casual users. Because if you can optimize your approach, so for example, what works in your region, you can just replicate it to the next region, and you don't need to test a completely new approach.
Yes.
You can grow faster that way. And that way, I'm also thinking about contacting those target audiences. For example, with cold email, you could even do that. There are possibilities. There are freelancers on Upwork, for example, that you can hire, and they can find you the right, for example, all the contacts of workshops, bicycle workshops in your region or in whole Italy from Google Maps. There are some databases and then you can even contact them per email and see who responds. Because, for example, if you contact 1,000 people, then 100 people maybe reply because it's so relevant. And you already have someone to talk with. You can also offer a call with them because calls are very valuable where you get to know the real person behind this business. Is it trustworthy? Is it simpatico? And that's one piece of marketing could be. And of course, as you said, to start with your network, that's perfect because people already know you. And in the beginning, when you don't have any users or very few users, you're a little bit weak. You can overcome that by already having a trust with the person and relationship a little, and then you can expand with cold emails, for example. In terms of meta ads, did you say ads? Yeah, not just posting there.
Yes, we want to create social media strategies with some video and other things. We must invest on it.
I would create a social media presence. So that people, if they are searching, they know, okay, that's a real business. It's there is something behind it, but don't expect from your social media page to acquire new clients. So organically, without spending for ads. Yeah, you just post and you don't need to overdo it. In my opinion, my personal opinion, because I've seen it with smaller businesses. They think if they post 3 times, 4 times a week, then they will have new followers. But it grows very slowly. So for me, it's I would post 1 post or two posts a week, just when not to invest too much effort, but just to have some content so that people, if they are already interested and they come to your social media page, then you bring them to the buying from interest to buying. And with ads, of course, you can achieve much more. You can have immediately a reach. But here's the problem that you will, especially in the beginning, you will invest a lot of money, and many people will see those ads who are not relevant for you as who is not your target audience. And especially in this case, where it's a very specific target audience, later on, if you decide to target hobby bicyclers, like in Netherlands, for example, those people who take it to work and back with a bicycle, then this kind of meta ads, social media ads, TikTok ads can be pretty good because you are targeting a big portion of the whole society. But if you are targeting sports people, and maybe in your region it's a bit higher number, but percentage. But in overall Italy, it's probably like 1% or so.
I think the last percentage is not really, I imaginate it, but yes, it will be 1%. Consider that last year in Italy, we have 70,000 professional athletes in the bikes. So, and we are 60 millions. So it's 1%.
One out of thousands. So it's very specific target audience. It's not a bad thing that it's it's actually a good thing, but there are more effective ways to target those people than meta ads and TikTok. TikTok is, everyone is talking about TikTok. In my opinion, it can work for certain type of businesses, but usually for B2B, business to consumers, and where there is a bigger population, where few percentage are interested. For example, if you are offering something that can be interesting for many people, then TikTok can be pretty effective, especially if it's interested for certain age. And in your case, I think you could also do YouTube ads besides this direct contact. Don't forget about, in your case, I think also just sending out letters with flyers, where you brochures.
Okay.
That could also work because you have, especially if you are sending to B2B, to workshops.
Yes, to workshop.
That can be really worth it.
Really? I didn't think about it.
Everyone is always thinking about the latest trends.
Yes,
and moving away from the old school. But in certain cases, because no one is doing it, you stand out.
Yeah, understand. Yes, because it's a strange thing, so we can say it's not really common. Okay.
Everyone is thinking about efficiency, and usually sending brochures or flyers is to expand to do it to thousands of things. But if you have maybe 1,000 workshops in whole Italy or in whole region, if those 4,000, 4,000 letters, it's payable. Don't do it at once. You send it in your region, few hundred, you see how it works, and then you can expand. So you invest maybe 500 euros, and it's a risk you can take. And the thing is, you get not only one workshop potentially, but also buyers of this workshop. So you have good flyer, good offer, maybe a video for more information, or a website that they can visit for more information, or of course, offering a free consultation. So, and oftentimes it can also be a good combination between mail and then email, and maybe even later on you could also consider LinkedIn if they have, and probably they don't have, they are not so big on LinkedIn, but then suddenly they have from different places so your brand. It's all about interaction with your target audience. So if I have the choice between showing your brand to 10,000 people once, or to showing to 1,000 people of your target audience 10 times, the later one is much, much more effective, because you see it and then you see it again. And it's like with Coca-Cola. Why is Coca-Cola everywhere? Because they know this principle. And then if you are deciding to buy something, then you have this in your mind. And with YouTube, the advantage is, what I like, you can target specific videos. You can show your ads on specific videos. You can show your ads to specific channels. And also people who searched for certain keywords, you can show your ads, your YouTube videos ads. I mean, it's not the highest priority for you, so I would do it as a second. It's as a third. So the first one is networking, second is then emails and letters, and then there's a third. When you did all of that, then I would think about YouTube ads, because I can imagine if you target those videos that are watched by bicyclers, professional bicyclers, and you can find those videos probably. So you can see they are repairing, or they are giving some advice how to be this professional bicycler. and suddenly you have relevant people.
Yes. In fact, it's a good idea. In fact, I want to ask also for you, in your opinion, what do you think about small influencer? Not huge influencer, because I study in my degrees, in my university, I studied that huge influencer can be obviously very expensive, first of all. Second one, the target is not really specific. So in my case, we already speak about the professional bicycler. So in that case, it's better maybe the smaller one. But what do you think about that?
That's perfect. I would even prioritize the micro influencers to YouTube ads. I would maybe create some content so people can watch it and can understand what is it about. What you do with YouTube ads is a little bit like micro influencing, but there is YouTube in between. It's a bit easier to implement, and you can start with a small amount. But with micro influencer, you remove YouTube, and then you can gain, and you remove a lot of competition. And you can get some deals that are maybe more affordable than Google and YouTube. But you have to be also here. You have to first, of course, you have to choose the right ones, very relevant, and also you have to see how much engagement each of their content has. Not just the subscribers, because
it's not enough, obviously,
easy, to get more subscribers. But if they are commenting, if they are liking, then it's a good sign. And of course, if it's very relevant, if it's not, you can have maybe an influencer who has 10,000 subscribers or people who regularly watch it, but maybe 1,000 of them are, or 500 of them, or 100 of them are really your target audience. So you have to be careful to choose those that have a lot. The next thing is with influencers is that you also have to try to make several mentions of your brand, not only once. So on a regular basis. So you say, okay, let's do it a month on all on half of your videos or some of your videos, but at least the target audience hears it several times, so that they wait, I've been hearing about it. I have to check it out.
20 times. So I have to check it.
And with YouTube ads, another good thing is retargeting. I mean, it's with all channels, but you have at the end of the day, you have to choose one channel that you focus the most, or two channels, but not too many. With YouTube, you can see, people who watched this video, you can show a series of videos that explain maybe different advantages of your solution or different perspectives. That way you can really gain trust and interest.
I never think about this because for example, in my private life, I spend a lot of time on YouTube, but I never think about this type of things. I never do some ads on YouTube.
For me, I really like YouTube because everyone is using, many different people using it. So for example, TikTok is more for younger people. Facebook is maybe for older people. LinkedIn is for professional, but everyone, majority of people are watching on YouTube, and there is such a huge diversity. And also, TikTok is short form. You cannot convey so much information in short form, but if someone is watching a longer video, several minutes, then you have different connection and also different possibility to inform this person. Retargeting, in my opinion, very, very important because you don't need to contact as many people as possible. That's like many people think about it. Many founders, they think, I have to do as many things as possible. I publish on social media, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, and then something will stick. But no, you focus on one thing, and then you try to contact the same people over and over until they decide to buy from you. Another thing that could work, if it's possible, if there are podcasts that are listened by bicyclers, professional by your target audience, if you can be a guest on those podcasts, That's such an affordable way to get those
really?
people to listen to you for such a long period of time, to get trust and authority. It's like a little bit like they are recommending you. If you are a guest on their podcast, it means you are the guest. You are not some advertiser who is not asking, but they invited you. There is already kind of a relationship with the host. The audience already has a big relationship with the host. So that means you get some of this relationship already from the cycle.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
And you have so much time, you can talk. And people, they want to know the human behind the business. That makes you more relatable, more trustworthy.
Yes.
Because there are so many gray projects and companies and software solutions. But if you can show you as a founder who is behind this project, your passion, why you are doing that, or you're one of your business partners, then it makes it more interesting and people are more ready to
also
try
because
it out.
also because I see that in business we speak about customers, but customers obviously are people, so they you can't think customers and client like a machine.
Yes,
it's a machinery.
Exactly.
Are people, so they they have to trust on you. And also we can say that nowadays we have a lot of information, a lot of competition, a lot of everybody want to sell me something. And so if I have to buy, I want to trust on it. I have to trust on it. So
true.
It's
many founders, they lose the sight. They think they see only the numbers. Click-through rate, bounce rate.
Yes.
And they forget about that it's real humans behind those numbers.
yes. No, really. It's I think the same. Also because we are speaking about a passion. So it's a particular sector where the people really love it. And so in my opinion, it's a good thing for us because it's the customers want the best. They love it, so they will appreciate your idea. It's not like a management system. Management system has to be easily. It don't have to cost too much. In the other side, we have passion, and in this case, I think that the people will be. I repeat, will like the idea, but you have, in my opinion, you have to do the best. It's different things. You don't speak about customers or clients, so they are not number but person.
Yes,
so
and you can learn from
I think it's things to invest it.
Yes, and if you speak with those people, with your prospects and clients, you can also learn what they value and what is important, what they don't like, and adjust your product accordingly. And it becomes such a much better product than from some competitions who are just trying to push it with marketing. If people were searching for some kind of apps for bicyclers, theoretically you could also, not theoretically, but you could also advertise in Play Store, in Google Play Store, Apple Play Store. But in your case, maybe people are not even aware that this solution exists, so they might not search for apps related to that.
We have a lot of competitors, but in reality, they don't do the same things. They are born in different situations. This is normal, but a lot of startups or company are focused on the e-commerce. So think about our project. The final result is the e-commerce. So I put all the registration, all the maintenance of my bike only for sell it. It's different from us because we want to focus on the client and on the bike. Because I think I want to say funny things, but when you think about your passion, you don't think about when I will lose it. Okay, so if I think about my bike, I don't think about, okay, I will sell it. No, I want to enjoy it. And after 10 years, maybe I want to sell it. Okay. So we have a lot of competitors, but in different, we can say that the view of the project is different.
Yes, and it's important that you communicate those facts, that how different you are, and if you think it's important factor for decision making of your of those people, then it's important that you communicate it clearly, so that they understand. Okay, it's not another of those tools. Especially if people have tried some of those apps and maybe they are disappointed, but if you communicate this clearly, and if you are really communicating from different, like several times, so they understand, okay, you are serious about that. You are not just some one man show who created an app to earn quick buck, kind of.
Okay. Yes. No. Okay, I understand. I think that we will invest on it in this to communicate this value. Also because it is a value that we discovered last week. So consider it's really, because we see that a lot of product they are focused on the e-commerce. So the last part of the life of your bike, and not all the bike. So it do the same things, but they think about the last part, not all the things. So
you will discover more and more in such things where you stand out, what those bicyclers value, what they don't like, what their concerns are, and then you can always adjust. And you are on the right path, I think.
But we don't know how the market will react to this product. We know that we speak about 20 or 30 professional bicycle, and they say that it's a good idea. They want it. Yes, it's okay, but it's a very small. It's not all the market, so we don't know how the market will react to this. So the people will be the most important parts in the project.
Yeah, that's it, I think. Do you have any last questions?
The last question, but very, very quickly, so don't worry. About the future advertising or sponsorship with huge company that create components for the bike. So that I think it is the last step. What do you think about this?
Yeah, to be honest, I don't have experience with that. So I cannot tell you what works, what doesn't work. I can only imagine how, if I put myself into the shoes of the target audience, how I would react. So if you are choosing such a company, you have to make sure they are focusing on the right target audience, so that majority of them. In general, it's a good idea. You could even ask on Amazon some shops to add your flyer when they're sending those packages.
Good.
And in general, I mean, when you get bigger, then it will be easier for you to talk with bigger companies.
Yes, maybe it's,
you can.
Yes, it's
the bigger the company, the more you have to pay in advance. So you cannot say, let's spread the revenue. Let's share the revenue. I think for smaller companies, it's easier. They are willing to do that. But for bigger company, they want you to pay 10,000-20,000 euros, and then they will start doing something.
Yes. No. Obviously. Okay. No. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I hope it was helpful, and I hope you will.
Yes, obviously.
You got some valuable advice that you can implement and succeed. Thank you very much, and good luck with your project, and talk to you later sometime maybe.